Welcome to Introduction to Womb Care. My name is Erica, and just a brief overview of what I do. I'm a licensed massage therapist and yoga teacher, and I am dedicated to helping all womb holders reconnect with their sacred space, awaken their inner strength, realize that they have the power to manifest anything and everything their heart desires. And an important part of that is working to release trauma in the womb space. It could be your own trauma, it could be ancestral trauma, but really working to release whatever it is that your womb is holding on to that could be causing womb issues, womb conditions such as PCOS, endometriosis, fibroids, any pelvic floor pain. I honor ancestral practices such as sobada de matriz, bajos, which are also known as yoni steaming or vaginal steaming, and the sacred tradition of la cuarentena for postpartum care. So I see clients who are trying to conceive, who become pregnant or are already pregnant, and then postpartum as well. I experienced excruciating periods, especially throughout high school. My mom would have to come pick me up from school. I would be in the fetal position in the nurse's office. And unfortunately, this was what is considered normal in today's society. And I had testing done. All the tests came back normal. They tested me for anemia. Um, and I remember the doctor suggesting to my mom that I be put on birth control because that was going to help my cramps, my excruciating cramps. Luckily, unfortunately, my mom said no. I was only 14, definitely not sexually active, and she said absolutely not. And so, unfortunately, with that decision, I continued having painful cramps up until my early 20s. And it wasn't until when COVID hit, I decided to make a career change. I left my job in marketing at the time and decided to do my yoga teacher training. And then after I completed that, I really wanted to find an opportunity that aligned with my long-term goals. It just so happened that a massage school was looking for a marketing manager. I applied, got the job. A huge perk with that job was that I got to go to massage school for free. So saved me like 10 grand in education. And honestly, it was the best experience, one of the best experiences of my life. I learned so much, including I took a course on traditional Chinese medicine, and that is where I met my then acupuncturist. And so I started to see him, and for the first time in my life, I think after like a few sessions, the first period that I had after those few sessions came, and it was the first time in my life that I did not have any pain or cramping, and it blew my mind. I was like, what is this witchcraft? Like, what did you do? And this is wild. Like, is this how life is supposed to be? And he said, yes, our periods are not supposed to be painful at all. Oh, sorry, I'm glad I have this slide here, but I had an abortion back in 2018, which was very, very traumatic. For the longest time, I had guilt with that decision that I felt like I brought into my marriage. So when my husband and I got married in 2022 and started trying to conceive in January of 2023, and we weren't getting pregnant, I I had guilt and then fear that it was because of my past that was something was preventing us from getting pregnant. So I did all the research as any I feel like women just naturally we want to learn as much as we can when we're going through something specific. And this journey led me to my teacher, Pankitsani. She's in Long Beach, California, and I actually went to learn from her. And during the workshop, she did a soa de matriz for everyone, and for me specifically. She confirmed that my uterus was in fact dropped bladder, uterus, both were dropped, and then my uterus was tilted to the side. And she adjusted me, and when she adjusted me, you could literally hear like a pop. It was like, and it was my uterus being put back into the center where she should be. And it was the most wild experience. Honestly, like there are no words to describe the feeling. All I know is that after the adjustment, my entire body was tingling. Like I just felt energy just running through it. And it felt as if I was home for the first time in my body when I didn't even realize that I wasn't even home in my body to begin with. That experience alone inspired me to do the work that I'm doing today and to help as many womb holders connect with their womb space, to release trauma, to release stress, to release fear, all the things. After I started tracking my cycles, which was a huge eye opener, I could actually see what my body was telling me through my fertility signs, including cervical mucus, my basal body temperature, and then my period itself. I was spotting days before my period would come. Also, the length of my luteal phase was very short. So cycle tracking was a huge eye opener. Unfortunately, when I took this information to the fertility acupuncturist that I was seeing here in Denver, he's great, so sweet. But when I did take him this information, he kind of brushed me off and was like, "Oh, I wouldn't worry about any of that." And I was like, what do you mean? All this information has, you have to do something with that. And so I ended up stepping away from seeing him for future treatments. I decided to find a different OBGYN. And thankfully, she was the one who listened to me. I felt heard for the first time. She was like, okay, let's get an ultrasound scheduled. And the ultrasound confirmed that I do have lean PCOS. I do have the undeveloped follicles on my ovaries. I've learned a ton. I am incorporating practices specific for PCOS. So, all good things. If you are dealing with PCOS or endometriosis, know that you are not the only one, okay? And there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you're here to educate yourself, which is a great step in the right direction to start healing your womb space. Okay. In today's presentation, we will cover basic anatomy. Then we're also going to speak about your spiritual womb. What does that mean? And then common womb health issues such as PCOS, endometriosis. And at the end, I will share some very practical womb care practices that you can start at home as soon as possible. Okay, so what is a womb space and where is it located? Typically, when I ask this, everyone's first thought is, oh, it's the uterus. And technically, you're not wrong. However, it includes so much more than just your uterus. Your womb space includes your breasts, your entire abdomen, your pelvis, and arguably even your throat. Your throat is connected to your womb. Your throat tissue and your genital tissue develop from the same tissue, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Okay. Your womb space, so that was your physical womb space. Your spiritual womb space is revered in several cultures around the world, in Mexican traditional medicine, as well as Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine. In all of these cultures, the womb is revered as the center of femininity, the source of your strength, the source of your vitality, the source of your creativity, your intuition, and your wisdom. What are the main organs of your womb space? We know that your womb space includes your breast, your abdomen, your pelvis, your throat. So what are the main organs in these areas? The organs can be grouped into your digestive system, which includes your throat, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, pancreas, appendix, liver, and gallbladder. Then you have your urinary system, which includes your kidneys, your ureters, and your bladder. Then your genital system. That includes your vagina, your cervix, your uterus, your uterine tubes, your ovaries, and your beautiful breasts. So this is a very, very introductory course. I do have a more extensive course that I will be releasing next month. So excited about that. But if you want to learn more about any of these kind of mini topics that I'm covering here, look out for my main course next month in March. Your womb as an energetic and emotional center in Mexican traditional medicina. So my practice honors ancestral practices from this lineage from Mexico. So in Mexican traditional medicine, your womb or your matriz is thought to be your source of vitality, closely linked to your energy and strength. And so imbalances in your womb energy, your heart energy, if you're familiar with yoga or Ayurveda, you probably know these energy centers as chakras. It's so interesting that all of these different cultures from different parts of the world, what they believe in is very similar. It's very cool. But imbalances in your energy, whether due to trauma or stress or other lifestyle factors, are believed to disrupt your womb health, manifesting as womb issues such as irregular cycles, fibroids, endo, PCOS, and more. Your womb is so much more than just an organ. It's a portal to the entire universe. Literally, the only way that life can enter this world is through your womb. So really, really let that sink in. But once you realize that, it's pretty like mind blowing. Like you hold the entire universe within your womb, and your womb has the ability to hold, not only hold on to things, but to release. And so we release each month with our period. So really honoring your period, taking the time to energetically release through the blood that is through the uterine lining that's shedding, just meditating, sending any negative thoughts, emotions, anything that you no longer wish to hold on to through your period blood is so powerful. It's such a powerful practice. So I would recommend trying that if you haven't already. Your womb stores all of your emotions, your thoughts, both positive and negative, anything connected with your relationships, past lovers are imprinted inside of your womb. A lot of clients experience trauma when they give birth. There's way too much going on. Mothers actually leave their body to retrieve their spirit baby and bring them into the world. But nobody talks about this. And in Mexican traditional medicine, we honor what's called La Cuarentena, which is the first 40 days, the first sacred 40 days postpartum, post-birth. And this is such a crucial time for the mother, not only during this time, but also for her long-term health and vitality. What happens when there is an imbalance in any of your energetic centers in your body? So they typically manifest as common womb health issues. I mentioned this earlier, irregular cycles, heavy or painful periods. If you're missing cycles, or if there's a hormonal imbalance, if you're getting fibroids, which fibroids are non-cancerous growths in your womb that could cause pain, heavy bleeding, and fertility issues, endometriosis, and PCOS. Those are the two most common ones that I see with my clients. Endometriosis is when tissue that is similar to the uterine lining grows outside of the uterus and causes painful periods. And if not taken care of soon enough, it could potentially cause infertility. PCOS is a hormonal disorder causing irregular periods, ovarian cysts, and difficulty conceiving. So there's so many womb issues, but these are the common ones. Once there is an imbalance, your womb space will be shouting to you through these conditions like, hello, there's something wrong. There's an imbalance. But some signs or symptoms that you may be experiencing are pelvic pain, irregular periods, bloating, unusual discharge, even emotionally. I know I myself experience anxiety, like for absolutely, I'm just like, why do I have this just overwhelming like feeling of just dread and crying, like not be able to control your emotions, having sudden outbursts, anger, and then also sleeping a lot, depression, And maybe not feeling connected with your body, that's also a sign of an imbalance. You're just feeling disconnected, or your creativity kind of feels stagnant, you have low energy, you feel stuck. So those are all of the signs and symptoms of an imbalance. And so addressing imbalances early can prevent more serious health issues such as amenorrhea or a lack of a period, which is no good. We need to bleed every single month. It's so important. Cervical cancer, high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, uterine prolapse, and more, right? So we want to address any imbalances as soon as possible. And so what causes these imbalances? The majority of the time, it's stress and our, nutrition, what we're putting into our body, and our lifestyle. Like, are we moving enough? Chronic stress will 100% disrupt your hormonal balance. And I think this is what happened for me, specifically with PCOS and having difficulty conceiving. I was just so stressed for a straight, honestly, probably 2 years. And when I was told, oh, you have lean PCOS, it's so wild because I think the stress of not knowing was so stressful that when finally somebody confirmed something, anything, literally my cycles have now become regular and I'm not getting spotting. It was kind of like a huge relief. And it just goes to show you that how much stress can actually affect our body, our emotions, our hormones, everything. Also, I have been changing the way that I eat. I was fortunate enough to meet a nutritionist who just so happened to work with PCOS clients. She was very, very kind and kind of broke down how to eat and what foods would be good to eat for me specifically. And then lifestyle. During my 2 years of being chronically stressed out, I was also not exercising, which was the first time in my life that I did not exercise. I didn't move around. I was just too busy, right? Checking off my task list, not making time for exercise. And that affected my stress, right? Because exercise is a great stress reliever. Lack of movement, on top of all the toxins that we are exposed to on a daily basis, contribute to poor womb health. So real quick about the exercise portion. So we have a lymphatic system and we have lymph nodes throughout our body, and our lymph nodes are like the exit points for the lymph fluid in our body. So lymph fluid is actually the fluid that collects all of the toxic stuff floating around in our body. And the only way that the lymph fluid can get to the lymph nodes and exit our body is by us moving, pumping our muscles, getting the lymph fluid moving to these parts of our body, jumping up and down, exercising. Is so good for our lymph system and getting that toxic fluid out of our body. Alrighty, so simple ways to honor and support your womb every day. So keeping your socks on. So this is huge for not only Mexican traditional medicine, but also in traditional Chinese medicine. Both medicines believe that our feet are directly connected to our womb. In Mexican traditional medicine, we believe in what's called frialdad, which is coldness. And when we have coldness in our womb, the majority of the time, our feet are cold. And so that's why it's so important to keep our feet as warm as possible, because this coldness can travel through the bottoms of our feet and up into our womb space. Very similar perspective in traditional Chinese medicine. They also believe in keeping socks, keeping your feet warm, doing hot foot soaks, because there are so many meridians. TCM uses meridians. They're like energy channels. That's what they work with when they put needles in your body. And there are so many meridians that start in the feet that go up and into our womb space. And so, yes, that's why it's so important to keep our feet as warm as possible all year long. Sleep is so important. Getting 8 hours minimum. For me, I need 9 hours minimum to feel fully rested. Sleep is when our body goes through its rest and recovery if you look at the TCM organ clock, around 9 or 10 p.m. is when our organs like the liver, the spleen, everything starts its night shift, and things work overnight, but they can only do their job optimally when we're asleep. And so us staying up on our phone, scrolling past 10 o'clock, we're up till midnight, we're up till 1 a.m. That's not, it's not optimal for our organs. They can't really do their job the way that they're supposed to. So sleep, sleep, sleep as much as you can. And then eating whole foods as much as possible. Get as much organic as you can, but also just whole foods, even if they're not organic. Whole foods includes all foods that are not processed, that don't come in boxes. So I'm thinking like cereal, cookies, chips, those would be processed foods, basically foods that aren't in their natural state. So whole foods would be, tomatoes, avocados, produce, all the veggies. And then if you can, getting grass-fed, pasture-raised beef, chicken, wild-caught salmon, as much as you can. And then we already covered exercise. It's so, so important. Exercise at least for 30 minutes a day. Move enough to get your heart rate up is very, very good. Try to find something that you love to do, right? Because I feel like that's what keeps so many people from exercising regularly, is exercising becomes like just another task, right? So you spend like 9 hours a day at work, and then, okay, I have to go work out. Like it's a chore. But if you find something you love, like that just makes you feel so good. Like for me, it's Zumba. I love Zumba classes. So it doesn't even feel like I'm exercising. I'm just like shaking my booty and feeling all kinds of good. And I feel I'm like floating. I like walk out of the class just like on cloud nine. Anyway, find something that you love to do, and then stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water. Bone broths, herbal teas. I know a lot of my clients, they struggle with drinking plain water. You would have to do your research, but there are some electrolyte brands that are very good. They add minerals into your water. Some of them are flavored. So try doing that. Bone broth is amazing. Drinking bone broth first thing in the morning. It's going to be so good for your digestive tract. But in traditional Chinese medicine, as well as Mexican traditional medicine, there are other organs that are very important for our womb health, our heart being one of them. Our kidneys are a huge one, very, very important. Our kidneys are essentially responsible for our yin energy, which is like our more feminine energy or cool energy in our body. And our kidneys are responsible for processing liquids, and that's what urine, that's our kidneys send down, like whatever is not needed liquid wise, down into our bladder, and then we pee it out. And so our kidneys are very, very important. In TCM, the kidneys are literally like the life source for all the other organs. Like if your kidneys aren't hydrated, so it's very, very important to stay hydrated for your kidney health, because if your kidneys aren't properly hydrated, aren't working properly, then that directly affects your liver. And then, oh my gosh, then you have liver stagnation, your blood, because you're not hydrated enough. Your blood is like more slow moving, and then your liver has a hard time detoxing your blood, your body. And then all of a sudden you have painful period cramps, you have clotting. So when you have clotting, that's typically in TCM, like liver stagnation. So basically you need to stay hydrated and then get those fluids moving through your body optimally through exercise. So the last 4 tips that I have are starting a castor oil pack. Of course, this is not going to be for everybody. In Ayurveda, they teach a lot about your doshas. When you have heavy menstrual cycles, it's not recommended to do castor oil packs because that could just make it heavier. Doing more cooling practices like yoga, doing self-womb massage, but with coconut oil, which is a cooling oil, versus castor oil, because castor oil is a heating oil. So if there's too much heat in the body, you're not going to add more heat. You ideally want to cool it down with coconut oil. Starting this practice with yoni steaming, self-womb massage, and also getting a sobada de matriz by a sobadora, which unfortunately is hard to find. But if you can see a sobadora in person, that's going to be extremely beneficial. so that she can tell if your uterus is dropped or in the right position. And then complementing your sobada de matriz with yoni steaming, with self womb massage daily. That's a daily practice. And yoni steaming as well is going to be so great for your womb health now and in the future. Alrighty, so that is the end of my presentation. If you have questions or would like more information, or if you would like to work with me in person or online, please book a session via my website. I very much look forward to holding space for you and helping you on your womb healing journey. Gracias, amiga.